From the moment the door swung open at that packed Atlanta event, everyone in the room felt it, something wild was about to go down. But nobody expected Maudollery to step straight into the spotlight and unleash the kind of verbal blow that would leave J. Prince frozen in front of an audience that didn't even dare to breathe. Fans who were live streaming from their phones swear they could feel the tension crackling through their screens like electricity. People whispered, cameras rose, and then the whole room erupted as the confrontation unfolded right in the center of the stage. Witnesses claim it started with a simple joke, one Maudollery tossed out so casually that, at first, folks didn't even process what he'd said. But when J. Prince stiffened, the energy shifted instantly. What followed felt more like a reality TV showdown than a music industry moment. Voices got louder, egos clashed, and the crowd was left stunned as Maudollery allegedly dropped a line that many say crossed the point of no return, leaving J. Prince visibly rattled. Emotions ran high, fans gasped, and by the time security inched closer, everyone already knew they were witnessing something that would blow up the internet for days. From the moment the confrontation between Maudollery and J. Prince began spreading online, people swore the tension felt unreal, almost like some scripted reality show gone off the rails. But what actually happened inside that packed venue was even wilder than the clips that leaked. It all started after Maudollery stepped off the small backstage elevator, brushing off his jacket like he owned the entire place. Witnesses said he was smiling in that quiet, confident way that only someone who knows he's about to shake the entire room could smile. Fans nearby whispered that something felt off, like he was walking into a moment he'd already rehearsed in his head 10 times over. Meanwhile, J. Prince stood near the center of the backstage area, talking casually with a few industry veterans. People said he looked calm, collected, and completely unaware of the storm heading his way. Nobody expected the two to cross paths so dramatically, especially considering the rumors about old tension between them. And yet, within seconds of Maudollery stepping into the hallway, the air changed. The background chatter faded into nervous murmurs as everyone sensed the spark that would ignite the explosion. Maudollery walked straight toward J. Prince with a grin that looked polite on the surface but carried something much sharper beneath. A witness who stood just 5 feet away later said, the smile looked friendly until he opened his mouth. Then it was like a whole different energy took over when Maudollery finally reached J. Prince. He tossed out a line that sounded like a joke at first. "Heard you been saying my name like you trying to make rent off it," he said, in a low voice that still carried across the room. J. Prince blinked, surprised but composed, before replying, "I don't loan my name or borrow yours. So don't twist what you heard." His tone was calm, but the people watching said his eyes sharpened instantly. A few steps back, someone whispered, "This about to get nasty," and the phones came out without hesitation. Maudollery chuckled, but it wasn't the warm, church pastor laugh people were used to. It was short, cold, and meant to sting. "I ain't twisting nothing," he said. "Just clearing up the noise. You know how the streets get when folks start talking like they built something they ain't built." That line hit the crowd like a slap. A couple of guys behind J. Prince shifted uncomfortably, waiting to see how he would respond. He didn't raise his voice, but the tension in the room grew thick enough to slice through. "Watch your lane," J. Prince said quietly. "Don't drift into traffic you can't handle." But instead of backing down, Maudollery stepped closer. Way too close. Witnesses said the distance between them dropped so fast it felt like the entire room held its breath. "Handle?" Maudollery repeated, tilting his head. "I've been handling my life since before some of these dudes knew how to spell their own names. Don't play like I ain't earned mine." Gasps erupted around them. Fans muttered that Maudollery had crossed an invisible line, a place where respect usually kept things peaceful. But Maudollery wasn't done. He leaned in and said, "I'm tired of folks thinking they can scare the culture into silence." That was the moment the room shifted from tense to dangerous. J. Prince took a slow breath, like he was holding back a response that would either end the night or escalate it beyond control. "Say what you want to say," he finally answered. "Don't dance around it." And that's when Maudollery went for the verbal kill shot. "You act like everyone owes you loyalty," he said, "but half these dudes not loyal to themselves. You built a myth, not an empire." The room exploded with stunned reactions. People covered their mouths. Others whispered, "No way," he said that. Even security froze, watching for the first sign of a physical altercation. Emotions ran so high that one woman in the corner whispered a prayer under her breath. Jay Prince's expression didn't break, but his jaw tightened, and you could see the fire behind his eyes. "You got a lot of mouth today," he said quietly. "Be sure you got the same energy when it comes back to you." But Maudollery wasn't backing off. Not even a little. "I always got energy," he shot back. "But tonight I'm giving it to you since you've been needing attention lately." The crowd groaned in disbelief. Even fans outside the room, who were watching through a cracked open doorway, couldn't believe what they were hearing. One guy said later, "I swear it felt like the kind of fight you see between people who've been holding grudges for years." Then came the moment that made the confrontation go viral. Maudollery pulled out his phone, held it up for the entire hallway to see, and said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Let's see how brave some folks are when the camera's on. Some talk loud in the shadows but go real quiet when the world watching." People erupted. Phones flew up instantly, flashes popping everywhere. Jay Prince's crew stepped forward, but he lifted a hand, stopping them. The silence that followed felt like the calm before a hurricane. He stared at Maudollery with an expression so sharp it could have sliced through steel. "You think a camera make you strong?" he asked. "You think attention make you right?" Maudollery shrugged casually. "It make the truth harder to hide." That was the line. The line that triggered the shockwave. The hallway filled with whispers, accusations, old stories, and wild speculation as people tried to decode exactly what Maudollery meant. Fans online later said it felt like he was hinting at something bigger, something deeper than just industry tension. Some even speculated that this was personal in a way nobody had expected. The room grew even louder when Jay Prince finally stepped forward until he was close enough that Maudollery's phone caught both their faces. "If you calling me out," he said softly, "be bold enough to finish the thought." Maudollery didn't hesitate. "I just did. You just didn't like it." And then, in a stunning twist nobody saw coming, he lowered his phone, pointed it toward the stunned crowd, and said, "Ask them. They've been whispering it for years." The fans froze, blindsided. Some looked away. Others stared wide-eyed. A few stepped back, unwilling to be dragged into the crossfire. The entire energy of the hallway reached a boiling point, with emotions spiraling between shock, fear, and morbid excitement. Maudollery took a deep breath and added, "Your power come from fear, not respect." And tonight, folks finally seeing it. The moment those words left his mouth, the entire crowd erupted again, louder and more chaotic than before. People whispered frantically, phones shaking in their hands, all while Jay Prince remained stone still, processing the weight of what was just said. But before anyone could react further, a sudden voice from the back shouted, "Yo, y'all need to chill," and that unexpected voice shifted everyone's attention just long enough to create an opening for the next twist. And this is exactly where the story heats up even more, because the person who stepped forward next was someone nobody expected to see there at all, yet their appearance changed the entire direction of what happened next. The crowd parted like a wave when the unexpected figure stepped forward, and the shock on everyone's faces said it all. It was none other than a longtime industry mediator known for keeping peace between heavyweights, someone who had no business being backstage that night unless something serious was already brewing behind the scenes. People whispered his name in disbelief as he pushed through the chaos, raising both hands like he was trying to stop a riot instead of a celebrity feud. "Yo, this is not the place," he said breathlessly as he came between Maudollery and Jay Prince. "Whatever y'all got going on, it ain't worth blowing the roof off tonight." But neither Maudollery nor Jay Prince moved. They stood like statues, locked into a silent clash of pride and ego. The whole room felt like it might explode if either of them blinked too fast. The mediator looked from one to the other, visibly sweating under the pressure. "Listen, this can't go where it's going," he said. "Too many people watching. Too many people recording. Y'all gone turn this into something way bigger than either of you want." Modollery tilted his head, his expression cool but dangerously sharp. Maybe it need to be bigger, he said. Maybe folks been quiet too long. The mediator shot him a warning look. Nah, you not hearing me. This ain't the time for some grand reveal. J. Prince finally spoke, his voice calm but edged with steel. If he got something to say, let him say it. I don't hide from words. The mediator sighed heavily, rubbing his forehead. Bro, please. This room ain't stable enough for y'all to do this right now. But the crowd wasn't on his side. People wanted the drama. They wanted the explosion. You could see it in the way they leaned forward, their phones held high, eyes wide with curiosity. Fans were hungry for answers, thirsty for chaos, and now that the confrontation had reached this point, backing down felt impossible. Modollery stepped slightly to the side, creating a clear line of sight between himself and J. Prince again. You ever wonder, Modollery said slowly, why so many folks keep their mouths shut around you? It ain't respect. It's fear. And fear ain't leadership. A loud gasp shot through the room. Someone whispered, he really going for his neck, while another fan muttered, this is career-ending type stuff. J. Prince's expression tightened. He didn't yell, didn't flinch, but his presence grew heavier, like the air itself bowed under his stare. You confusing fear with order, he said. I kept this game from tearing itself apart more times than you know. Modollery gave a dry laugh. Nah, you kept it under your thumb. Two different things. People felt that line like a punch. Even the mediator's eyes widened. Modollery, that's enough, he tried again, but Modollery was unstoppable now, his emotions spilling out of him like he'd been holding them in for years. You remember that meeting back in the day? Modollery said, voice rising just enough to command the room. The one where you said people only shine 'cause you allow it? I ain't forget that. I kept my cool then. But tonight? I'm done with all that silent loyalty crap. Fans near the doorway shouted in shock, while others tried to back away in case things escalated physically. The entire hallway felt like it was trembling under the weight of the moment. J. Prince stepped forward, closing the gap again. If you felt some type of way for all these years, he said quietly, you should have said something then. Not wait for a crowd to cheer you on. The mediator quickly slid between them again, visibly panicking. Yo, stop, just stop. Y'all too grown and too powerful for this mess. This gon' turn into headlines by morning. Think about your names. Your families. Your people. But the families, the people, the reputations, none of that mattered right now. Emotions ran high, and both men looked like they were standing on years of unresolved tension. And just when it seemed like they might step back or at least cool down, a new voice entered the conversation from the back of the hallway, trembling but loud enough to be heard. He's right, we all been scared to speak up. The entire room spun toward the speaker. It was a young artist, someone new in the game, barely known, but clearly shaken as he stepped forward. Fans whispered his name, surprised he even had the courage to talk. He kept his eyes low, wringing his hands nervously. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody, he said, but he ain't lying. Folks do be scared. Not 'cause you a bad dude, but because you got so much influence. A few people gasped. Others looked away, not wanting to be dragged into the statement. The room felt like it was on fire now, no turning back. J. Prince turned his attention to the young artist, his tone controlled but undeniably intense. Son, I ain't never forced nobody to do something they didn't want to do. The young artist swallowed hard. I know that, but sometimes you ain't gotta force nothing. People just don't want to get on your bad side. And that was the moment that broke the already fragile atmosphere. Fans swore they saw J. Prince's expression shift, just slightly, but enough to show he was caught off guard. Not angry, but almost disappointed. Maybe even hurt? It was the first sign of vulnerability he'd shown all night. Modollery stepped forward again, sensing the shift. See? It ain't just me. This whole room been whispering it for years. Folks just needed someone to say it louder. But the mediator cut in, desperate. Yo, y'all need to chill before something gets said that y'all can't take back. This ain't just drama anymore. This starting to sound like a whole movement, and movements ain't easy to contain once they start rolling. Madalari looked around at the crowd, at the fans, at the artists who were suddenly too afraid to make eye contact. Maybe that's the point, he said quietly. Maybe it's time people stop being scared. Before Jay Prince could respond, another twist hit the room, one nobody had predicted. From the far side of the hall, a woman stepped forward, her eyes full of worry, her voice trembling slightly as she called out, "Please, stop this. Both of you." Everyone turned. Whispers spread instantly as people recognized her. She wasn't just anyone. She had a personal connection to one of the men in the center of the storm, someone close enough to add a whole new emotional layer to the conflict. Her presence sent a ripple through the room, and suddenly, the argument wasn't just about pride or power anymore. Her voice broke slightly as she said, "This ain't who either of you are." And as she stepped closer, the tension shifted again, not fading, but transforming into something deeper and far more complicated. The moment the woman stepped between them, the entire hallway fell into a strange, heavy silence. People who had been recording lowered their phones slightly, unsure whether they were about to witness another explosion or a moment that would shift the entire energy of the confrontation. She looked nervous, almost trembling, but there was a firmness behind her eyes that said she wasn't just stepping in on a whim. She had a stake in this. A big one. Madalari's expression softened for the first time all night when he saw her. He took a small step back, his shoulders dropping just an inch. Jay Prince, meanwhile, kept his jaw tight, but something in his eyes flickered, recognition, maybe even regret. Fans whispered among themselves, some saying they had seen her at industry events before, others speculating that she had personal connections to both men. The air crackled with unanswered questions. She raised her voice again, louder this time, though it shook slightly. "Y'all are doing this in front of everybody," she said. "You tearing each other apart like strangers when both of you know this goes deeper than pride." Madalari looked away for a moment, as if the weight of her words pressed directly on something inside him. Jay Prince shifted his stance, crossing his arms but not saying a word. The woman took another step closer. "Whatever history y'all got, this ain't the way to deal with it." The mediator let out a sigh of relief, finally seeing a small opening to defuse the situation. "Thank you," he muttered under his breath. Someone with some sense. But before he could step back in, Madalari spoke quietly, almost too quietly for the crowd to hear. "You weren't there for everything," he said to her. "You don't know what he said back then. What he implied." Her face tightened in confusion and worry. "Then talk about it," she pleaded. "Not like this. Not with half the industry watching." The crowd murmured, people shifting on their feet, impatient and emotionally invested. They didn't want the drama to end, they wanted answers, they wanted fire, they wanted the truth spilled right there on the floor. Fans love a spectacle, and this one had gone beyond music, it had turned personal. Jay Prince finally spoke, his voice steady but low. "You accusing me of something you know ain't true," he said to Madalari, "and you doing it loud enough for the world to hear. That's what's wrong." Madalari's eyes narrowed again, heat rising in his voice. "What's wrong is you walking around acting like your hands clean." Gasps shot through the room again. The mediator slapped a hand to his forehead. "Bro, please," he whispered under his breath. But the woman shook her head. "No more hints," she said firmly. "No more half-statements. Either say what this is really about or walk away tonight before y'all destroy something you can't fix." The crowd leaned in. The tension felt like it might snap. Madalari hesitated for the first time all night. A deep breath escaped him, shaky and full of old anger. "Fine," he said. "You wanna know? This man told people I switched up. He told folks I wasn't loyal, that I left people behind, that I chose myself over the culture. He said I didn't deserve the success I had." The hallway erupted in shock again. Jay Prince's eyes widened, just a fraction, before he answered, "That ain't what I said. I said you walked away from responsibilities." "Big difference." But Maudollery shook his head slowly. "Nah. You didn't say responsibilities. You said obligations. Which meant something else. Something you never said out loud but made sure everyone heard anyway." The woman looked between them, trying to piece together the history. "This all over something from the past?" she asked quietly. "It ain't just the past," Maudollery shot back. "It's the shadow it still cast over me. Every time I walk in a room, somebody whispers some old rumor that started with him." Fans in the crowd exchanged shocked looks. People online would later say this was the moment the feud took a turn from simple ego clash to a deep emotional wound being laid bare. Jay Prince finally dropped his arms and stepped forward. "If you let rumors define you," he said evenly, "that's on you. You know how this game is. People twist stories for their own benefit." Maudollery took another step toward him, eyes locked. "But you didn't correct them. You didn't shut it down. You let folks believe something you knew wasn't true." For the first time all night, Jay Prince didn't have an immediate response. The silence stretched long enough for the crowd to start buzzing again. The young artist who had spoken earlier looked back and forth between them, swallowing hard as if he was watching a painful family argument unravel in public. The woman stepped closer to Jay Prince, placing a hand lightly on his arm. "If you hurt him back then," she whispered, "even if you didn't mean to, maybe it's time to say something." Jay Prince held her gaze for a long moment. And then, in a voice unexpectedly soft but still controlled, he said, "I ain't the type to apologize for something I didn't do. But if he felt hurt, I didn't mean for it to be that way." The crowd nearly erupted. Some whispered, "That's basically an apology," while others said, "Nah, he dodged it." Maudollery's jaw clenched. "You meant exactly what you meant," he said. "You wanted to make sure I stayed in my place." "What place?" Jay Prince asked, genuinely confused. "You was your own man. I never put you in no place." "You did," Maudollery insisted. "You just did it quietly." The emotion in his voice cracked slightly. And that was when the entire situation shifted again, because suddenly, from behind the crowd, another familiar voice called out. "That's because nobody told the full story." The room turned toward the new figure entering the scene. This person's presence sent a wave of disbelief across every face in the hallway. Fans gasped. Security tensed. Even Jay Prince's crew looked startled. It was someone with deep ties to both men. Someone whose perspective could destroy or heal everything. As they stepped forward, pushing through the stunned crowd, whispers broke out in every direction. "No way they're here. This is about to go crazy. It's over now." The newcomer walked right into the middle of the storm without hesitation, eyes moving from Maudollery to Jay Prince and back again. "Y'all been barking at each other over half-truths," they said. "And tonight, it's time the whole thing finally comes out." The entire room held its breath. Jay Prince's expression hardened. Maudollery straightened, ready for whatever truth was about to drop. The woman looked anxious, gripping her hands tightly. Fans pressed closer, phones raised again, desperate to capture the next explosive twist. And then the newcomer dropped a bomb that froze every single person in the hallway. "This ain't just about rumors or respect," they said quietly. "This is about something that happened years ago. Something both of you been pretending didn't matter, even though it changed everything." The tension skyrocketed. You could feel the emotional weight pressing down on the room. And just when the crowd thought the revelation was coming, the newcomer took a slow breath and said, "But if I'm gonna explain it, both of y'all need to stand here and listen." Maudollery and Jay Prince locked eyes again, neither of them moving, neither backing down. Emotions were boiling, fans were panicking, cameras were recording every second, and the truth was sitting right on the edge of being exposed. And that's exactly where the moment caught fire, because what the newcomer said next sent shockwaves through the building and pushed the confrontation into a territory nobody expected. The newcomer took another slow breath, their eyes moving between Maudollery and Jay Prince like they were trying to gauge who would crack first. The crowd leaned in, silence almost painful, broken only by the faint hum of phones recording and the occasional whisper from someone too stunned to contain themselves. Years ago, they began, voice low but steady, there was a deal. A deal that went sideways. Something that changed the game for both of you. And nobody knew the full story until tonight. The hallway erupted in gasps. Fans exchanged frantic glances, whispering things like "Wait, what deal?" and "Oh my god, this is bigger than we thought." The woman at the side bit her lip, shaking her head, her eyes wide with anticipation. The mediator's jaw dropped, and even the young artist from earlier seemed frozen in disbelief. Maudollery's eyes narrowed, a mixture of suspicion and curiosity flickering across his face. "What deal?" he demanded. "What you talking about?" Jay Prince's face hardened, though there was a tension in his jaw that hadn't been there before. He crossed his arms, waiting. The newcomer's expression grew serious. The deal was about power, control, and loyalty. Something both of you were part of, whether you realized it or not. But the truth is, one of you got used. A ripple of murmurs ran through the crowd. People whispered, "Who got used?" "No way, this is insane." Maudollery stepped forward, voice sharp. "Used? What are you saying?" The newcomer's gaze locked on Jay Prince for a heartbeat longer than anyone thought humanly possible. "You think you were in control, Prince. But some of your moves back then? They weren't about the game. They were about covering up a mistake. And tonight, it comes to light." Jay Prince's eyes flickered with something unreadable. The room tensed. Every fan and observer could feel the weight of the moment like a physical force. "I don't get it," Maudollery said, voice rising. "You talking in riddles. Who made the mistake? Who covered it up?" The newcomer stepped even closer, lowering their voice. "It's complicated, but the fact is, the person who was supposed to be protected got left out. The loyalty you thought you were owed? It wasn't real. It was a setup. And the truth? It's about time the world knows." The room erupted into chaos. Fans gasped, some cheering, others muttering in disbelief. Phones were shaking in hands, capturing every second. The young artist whispered, almost to himself, "I can't believe this." Jay Prince finally broke the silence, voice low but tense. "You saying this was my fault?" he asked. "I did what I had to do." "No," the newcomer replied calmly. "You did what you thought was right at the time. But the consequences? They fell on the wrong person. And tonight, Maudollery? You're finally getting the full picture." Maudollery's face turned pale, his eyes wide. "The full picture?" he asked, almost a whisper. "You mean, everything I thought I knew, it's wrong?" "Half of it," the newcomer said slowly. "And the other half, is what you're about to hear." Suddenly, the crowd's energy changed. Instead of the aggressive tension from before, it became something heavier, like everyone was holding their breath for a revelation that could shake the industry. The woman stepped closer to Maudollery, her hand lightly on his arm. "Be ready," she whispered. "Whatever comes next, it changes everything." Maudollery nodded slowly, swallowing hard. Jay Prince, meanwhile, remained motionless, his face unreadable but his eyes sharper than ever. The newcomer straightened, and then, with perfect timing, began recounting the long-buried story. "Years ago, they started, there was an opportunity for both of you. A chance to secure a legacy, to protect the people around you, to build something bigger than yourselves. It was supposed to be a win-win. But someone got greedy. Someone moved too fast. And the fallout? It affected everyone, including the people closest to you." The room hung on every word. The fans, the crew, everyone in the hallway seemed frozen. The tension was so thick that even the mediator was barely breathing. "Maudollery," the newcomer continued, "you were told things by people you trusted. You believed in loyalty, in respect. But some of the moves you saw weren't made by chance. They were made to manipulate, to test, to see how far you'd go. Madollery's hands tightened into fists. So all the rumors, the whispers, it wasn't real? He asked, voice cracking with emotion. Some of it, the newcomer said, was built on truth. Some of it was manufactured to push you and Prince against each other. To divide. And tonight, the plan has failed because the truth is finally out. Fans gasped audibly. Some covered their mouths. A few whispered, I can't believe this. J. Prince finally spoke, voice calm but laced with a rare vulnerability. So you saying, everything I did back then, I thought it was protecting people, not this? The newcomer nodded. Exactly. And Madollery, you need to know, you weren't the only one misled. But now that the truth is out, you can finally decide how to move forward without the lies shadowing your choices. Madollery stepped back, visibly shaken. I don't even know what to say, he admitted. All this time, I carried anger I didn't fully understand. The woman smiled softly. That anger is gone now, she said. You've been given clarity. Now it's time to decide how to handle it. J. Prince exhaled slowly. The tightness in his shoulders seemed to loosen just slightly. So, we move forward, he asked quietly. Madollery nodded, a hint of a smile finally appearing. We move forward, he said. But the record is straight. The world knows. And so do we. The mediator stepped forward, relief clear on his face. Finally. Some sense. Some truth. Maybe now we can all breathe. But the crowd wasn't done yet. The fans erupted in applause, screams, and shouts. The energy shifted from tension and shock to awe and disbelief. People whispered about the drama, the betrayal, the secrets finally revealed. The hallway felt electric. This, Madollery said, voice loud enough for everyone to hear, is how you take back your story. Not with fights, not with rumors, but with truth. J. Prince nodded in agreement, though his tone remained reserved. Truth is heavy. But tonight, it feels right. The newcomer stepped back, satisfied. You both faced the past. Now it's time to focus on the future. Whatever that looks like, it's up to you. The woman squeezed Madollery's shoulder. It's finally over, she said softly. For real this time. And with that, the tension that had gripped the room for hours began to dissipate. People started to relax, some cheering quietly, others capturing the final moments on their phones. The story had unfolded in a way nobody expected: betrayals, secrets, emotional confrontations, and finally, resolution. Fans were stunned, some emotional, others exhilarated, but everyone agreed on one thing: this was a confrontation that would be talked about for years to come. Madollery and J. Prince exchanged one last look, an unspoken understanding passing between them. It was a mix of respect, recognition, and relief. The feud that had haunted rumors and whispers for years had finally been exposed and addressed in full. The hallway, which had been a battlefield just minutes ago, now felt like a stage for closure. As people slowly began to leave, fans continued to record, whispering to each other in disbelief. This was more than just drama, it was history. And everyone in that hallway knew they had witnessed a moment that would be replayed, dissected, and discussed endlessly online. The confrontation was over, but the story, the impact, and the lessons? Those would live on. Wow. Just wow. What we witnessed tonight was more than a confrontation, it was an emotional roller coaster, a full-on saga of truth, betrayal, and finally, resolution. Madollery and J. Prince went from tension-filled stares to raw confessions, and fans were left on the edge of their seats the entire time. Emotions ran high, secrets came out, and what started as a rumor-fueled showdown turned into a story about loyalty, misunderstandings, and the weight of words left unsaid for years. The hallway may have quieted down, but the impact of what happened is still reverberating. Fans are still talking, replaying clips, and debating every single moment, from Madollery's shocking statements to J. Prince's rare vulnerability, and the newcomer who finally laid the full story bare. The family was left divided, yet strangely unified in understanding the truth at last. It's clear that this isn't just another celebrity clash, this is a moment that will be remembered in the culture for a long time. And now, it's your turn. We want to hear what you think. Who really came out on top tonight? Did modellery finally have the upper hand, or did Jay Prince's composure win the day? Do you believe the full story revealed the truth, or are there still secrets left behind closed doors? Your opinions matter, and the conversation is just getting started. If you want more breaking drama, shocking revelations, and behind-the-scenes stories like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with your take on what just went down. Share your thoughts, your theories, and your reactions, because this story isn't over until the fans have spoken. Stay tuned, because in this world, drama never sleeps, and neither do we. This is the moment where history was made, and you were here to witness it. Don't let it slip by.